All right, guys, we are live. UFC Baku, Hill versus Khalil Rountree. I'm your host, Picks by Pegasus, here with JV, key 3 picks. Last week's card, tough one for me. I think Draw profited. Key, how'd you do?
I was negative, like, I believe 3 units or a little over 3.
Yeah, I lost 7. I got fucking hosed. Almost got reverse swept, except for Phil Rowe.
Shout out Phil Rowe.
Yep,
You
shout
know
out
what I'm
Phil.
not? Do you know why I'm laughing? It's because of key background again.
Bro, fuck y'all.
Yeah,
Fuck
Key's
y'all.
Dildo background.
Yeah, so
All right, guys. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
I profited 4.74 unit, but I mean some bad bets around there. But yeah, shout out Phil Rowe cashing the
It was
round.
a tricky card. A lot of fights that should have been finished didn't finish.
Yeah, but shout out Phil Rowe. I've listened to his interview. The guy seems like a really dope dude. I hope he's gonna win some other fights. But yeah, that round 3 KO plus 2,500 was crazy. Let's get into this card. It's a fun one.
Hey guys, don't forget to join the Discord. That's where we all chat. We give out picks, stuff like that. Make sure you join up. Don't forget to retweet the space right now. Leave a like, leave a comment. It's all we ask for. We appreciate that. This guy just said Buckley fucked him in the ass. That's crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, so let's get into this one. First fight. Speaking of Usman, we have Mohammad Usman versus. 1 second. We got Mohammad Usman versus Hamdi Abdelwahab, the Hammer. Mohammad Usman 10-4, 36-6-2. Hamdi 4-0, 32-6-2. I mean, what a disgusting heavyweight bout. We know they're Key's favorite. Usman's anywhere from plus 140 to plus 145. Hamdi's anywhere from minus 160 to minus 170. Key, I mean, tell me why the Usman brothers are back.
Yeah, Kamaru's back, but Mo is never here. The fact that this guy is 3-2 in the UFC just shows how bad the heavyweight division is. It's just absolute bullshit. I mean, he was weaseling his way through the Ultimate Fighter, and then, of course, lands a fucking hook, and next thing you know, is now in the UFC getting real wins. Hamdi is just as garbage, but actually has real explosive wrestling in round 1 at least. It'll be interesting to see this fight play out. I think dog odds is dog or pass pretty clearly here. Personally, there's a slot fest that I don't want anything to do with. As I do give Hamdi, I believe at least, that one will see a little bit more of improvement from Hamdi after the layoff. And it's good for him to start getting some more activity again after the suspension and everything. But Usman is just really bad to me. But I will say he is somewhat of a functional fighter. He fights hard. It's not that I think that he gets chinned by Hamdi or anything, but he could get caught by something wild. So for me, it's a pass fight, but I understand that Usman's shot here. There's just a slot fest that I personally don't want money on.
You're muted, Peg.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, I'm on Mo Usman here. You know, has nothing to do with his brother looking good last fight, even though, hey, I mean, it shows that they're back. Hamdi's round 1 or bust. He's takedown. He's wrestling dependent or bust. We just watched him rob Pogues in the Middle East, and someone tells me Mohammad Usman, he's just going to fight behind his jab. He does that. He'll win this fight handedly. If he gets taken down, he'll get back up. If he'll prevent pretty much most takedowns, I think. He's pretty athletic in general, pretty strong. So, yeah, I'm not big on Hamdi. I think he's a fraud, and Usman's going to fraud check him here. Probably a close fight, 29-28 if I had to guess, but Usman is definitely got the better cardio upside, better volume, better jab. I think just better athlete in general. What do you think, Drav?
Yeah, it seems like you're right. You're reading my breakdown. Basically, what I wrote.
You're looking at my screen share right now.
But yeah, I mean, I do think Usman. I mean, he's the side for sure, but it's just like he said, it's really low level. But he's just the guy with better cardio, with a better process. I know Key like these fighters with a good process. Usman is not good, but he's actually fighting behind a jab at heavyweight, which we don't see too often. And he has like decent volume and decent cardio. The same can't be said about Hamdi. Like, he's all right in round 1, he's explosive, but after 5-6 minutes, he loses explosion, and his wrestling is not really good as the fight extends. His top game is not really good. His power doesn't carry in round 2 and 3, and he's a gasser. So in round 3 against Mays, he looked terrible. It was a really close fight against Mays, and then he should have lost against Pogues. That was like a really bad decision. He was watching Pogues at distance doing nothing and getting jab on, and he doesn't move his head. So that was kind of crazy. But yeah, I think Usman is takedown defense and get up game with what I've seen is good enough. He was able to get back up in round 2 against Peterson. And on the feet, he's just a better striker and throw more, and he's going to be the better fighter over 15 minutes. But yeah, it's not a good fight, honestly. But I think it should be close to 50-50. So because of that, I'm going to have to lean with the Usman side.
All right. Next fight here we have is Tagir Ulanbekov versus Azat Maksum. Tagir Ulanbekov, the shittiest of the Magomedov camp, 16-2, 33-5-7, hopefully makes weight. Azat Maksum, 15-1, 30 years old, 5'7", 70-inch reach. Odds on these two gentlemen, you can get Tagir anywhere from -450 to -470. You get Maksum anywhere from +350 to +300. Drav, I'll have you go first. I mean, we've seen Charles Johnson take down Maksum. I have a feeling Tagir is probably going to have no problem doing the same thing here. What do you think? Anything different?
Yeah, it's not only the takedowns, the front choke too. He had him in a sub. I'm sure Q remembered that moment you pointed out on the podcast, I think once or twice, when he had that sub and he just let it go. But that guy was going out cold if you finish that choke with one more second. Let me tell you something. Tagir front choke's way better than Charles Johnson's, and if you get that neck, he's gonna finish it. So yeah, on the feet, I think Tagir's striking is actually a bit underrated. I know he has no KO, but his jab is good. He throws a lot of volume. I don't like that he can get leg kicks, but I've not really seen Maksum use the leg kicks a lot. I don't like Maksum. I don't think Maksum has good leg kicks anyway, so I don't think that's going to matter here. But looking into it, it's like Tagir's going to land a bit more volume. I think he's the better grappler, better wrestler. And what's up, Chronic Combat? Yeah, I just think Maksum, he's dangerous though. He could win big moments, especially early. He has power, and Tagir is a bit hittable. But this fight's going to play out in the grappling more often than not. And Tagir is really tricky there. He's really good at getting the back, getting these front chokes, and I've seen Maksum putting his head in bad position. So I think that Tagir is live to get a submission, but maybe he could win also a decision, just doing more volume, decide where the fight take place, win the minute on top, and win the grappling exchanges. I trust his cardio more. He's fought the way better people also. Maksum is not bad. Like I said, his striking is all right, but he can be low volume. He's kind of a moment winner at flyweight, which is never the best. And I just think Tagir is going to outwork him and win this fight at a decent clip. The line's getting a little bit wide now. We're talking about -450 against a guy that is hittable and can fight on close margins. So probably dog or pass money line wise, but there's going to be some fun ways to play when the props open. I'm waiting for them.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with. I don't agree with the line. I think Tagir is probably like -275, -300. I think he'll have the better striking here. I think you got to give the power advantage to Maksum, but any sort of submission, wrestling, anything like that goes to Tagir. Striking as well, like boxing wise, the only power. I think Maksum's only chance is probably a knockout in this spot. Unfortunately, what do you think, Keith?
Yeah, Maksum's probably I got robust, but I don't think that Maksum is like as bad as everybody's making it out to be. And I was somebody who was low on him going into tape, and expected to easily parlay Tagir, but Tagir stands at range and will get leg kicked, and that can be problematic. Maksum finds shots pretty well, and I know it's not versus the greatest competition, but he can find a shot. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tagir ended up getting hurt in this fight. And for me, it's just kind of like, what are we doing here with Tagir? And I get that this was you had to make this on short notice, but the guy's about to be 34, and he's fighting the best that he's ever looked. So to me, it's kind of put up or shut up time. And now we're getting back to back and Clayton Carpenter and Azat Maksum fights at 34 years. I mean, we just got to be serious. So I think that Tagir gets it done. I don't think that he finds a finish, but I do think that he gets it done. I can see 29-28 or 30-27, but that's dangerous. I will say he's dangerous. I don't think that he's elite or anything, but he's dangerous for this weight class.
Gotcha. Go through some comments here. Chronic, thanks for joining us again. Going to be intrigued on the Tagir sub prop. Probably not going to be that great, to be honest. I guess he'd be in like plus 250.
It's plus 325 on Bet Online right now. But.
Exactly. Nothing crazy. Tagir going to bully. Probably. Top tier Tagir. I kind of like that one for him.
Top tier Tagir, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. The weight cut's definitely not easy, and it's not getting any easier at this point. But
yeah, the fact is that he just got to avoid Horiguchi is crazy.
I mean, that's not his fault.
I mean, he can't keep getting away with this. All right, that's it. Next fight here, Irina Alekseeva versus Klaudia Sygula. Damn. See this chick? That's what I'm talking about. All right, Irina, 5-2.
The question is, can she fight though?
Beats me. I was watching the wrong shit on tape. Klaudia is plus 235. Irina Alekseeva is minus 255. To be honest, I did not tape this one. If I remember correctly, Klaudia Sygula kind of fought bums, if I remember what I was looking at, and then Irina is Russian Ronda, the Sambo champion.
Why do you have Russian Ronda in all your parlays if you didn't tape it?
Yeah, right. Imagine that. Key, what do you think here? Low-level girls fight.
Holy shit!
What do you think? Who wins this? Is this not a fight or something?
This is like one of the worst women's fights of all time in the UFC. This is below, a little bit above any Montserrat Rendon fight.
She lost to Melissa.
I'll say that, but yeah, Sygula is absolutely awful. I'm not sure why she's here. She looks like a up north soccer mom with Botox. I guess that's Peg's type now. I'm not sure. I know Peg's up north, so that maybe that's his vibe. But I don't think that's tough. Like maybe we need to hear from the chat if that's good eat. But I don't think that's.
Yeah. What about Pooja Bannon?
And Pooja Bannon was more exciting than this,
bro. That was electric.
Irina is absolutely awful. She fights like an idiot. She is just a nut in there, and she'll throw hard. So she is the rightful favorite. I think that this is probably a little wide, but I mean, I do give her pretty much almost all of the finishing upside. I don't really see what Sygula does. Like, what does she do? I mean, she's like a cardio kickboxer that's just kind of here. I don't. The UFC is just really, like, on the women's side, is just dropping the ball with these signings because there are so many more better women on the regional scene right now in this weight class than these girls. This is just an awful fight. Irina gets it done, but in my opinion, there's no reasonable way to play this.
All right, Key or Drop, what do you got? What are you thinking for this one? Anything special?
Russian Ronda by Nibor. Book it.
Okay.
I don't have much to say. I think she could. I think Sygula grappling is awful. I think me and you could submit her pretty easily. She's really bad on the ground, honestly. She has no ground game. And on the feet, it's not like she's that good. She's all right in the striking, but Alekseeva is just a punching bag. She's going to walk forward and try to land bombs and get in the grappling, and then she's probably going to, I think she's going to get a meme, like a weird shit, and then she's going to do a dance. But yeah, fight don't go the distance could be good. I think she get it done probably inside the distance.
I like that. Anabolic Hathaway. What was her last name? Alekseeva and Sygula, something like that. Yeah, not much different for me. Like I said, I didn't really tape it, so who gives a fuck what I got to say. Next fight, Dariya Zheleznyakova versus Melissa Mullens. You like that, Key?
He's doing a little smile.
Zheleznyakova is 9-2, 29-5-9. Melissa Mullens, another girl. This is a rematch, by the way. I'm pretty sure, right? This is a rematch. Mullens is
So you didn't tape that one too. It's like I'm pretty sure, right?
I'm pretty sure it's a rematch.
Did you tape it?
I watched a few fights. I watched a few of Melissa Mullens, see if there's any value, but there's not. So yeah, rematch fight: Mullens versus Zheleznyakova.
Peg, no, Key, do you want me to expose him? Okay, so Peg, tell us what happened in the first fight.
I don't know, decision. I feel like you could bet those odds on a girls' fight, and you'd be right like 80% of the time. So it's worth, the
so
shot.
You didn't watch it. You're
No.
lying on live. You're getting caught again.
So
Key, tell us what happened in the first fight and what's gonna happen here. We're not gonna let Peg talk about this one.
Yeah, the Peg, just mute your mic. We'll take this one away. Leave it to the pros, buddy. But I think here in this spot, we'll see a little bit of the same from the first fight. Zelez will probably have a little bit of success at range. She beat the shit out of Mullens early, and then Mullens got her to the mat and then beat the shit out of her. Mullens is a punching bag. I played Cornola at like plus 275 against her a while back. Mullens is good on the mat and is not very good at all defensively on the feet. Dariya is a good boxer offensively, but the second that you hit her, yeah, that's crazy work. That is insane work. That's insane work. Yeah, wow. But I think genuinely though here, hold on, my shit is. Can y'all hear me still?
muted this whole time. Damn. Yeah, you're good. Keep going.
No, we hear you, Key. You can talk again.
Yo, this guy Justin Cash.
Oh, my shit working
so
now?
far off his game. It's been working the whole time, bro. This guy Justin Cash is so off your game. It's crazy.
Yeah, this guy like fucked up. He sent like a bomb to my internet. But I think here, Dariya is just awful as soon as she gets touched with anything. One, she has work done on her face and just is not able to wear damage well at all. So the second that she gets touched, I mean, she's bruising up, eyes are closing. The Rendon fight, I had a bet on her in that fight. I believe it like minus 147. I thought that she was going to look great there. And that ended up being way sweatier than it needed to be. So I think that Mullens finds her on the mat. I know that Zheleznyakova has definitely went back to MMA Factory and worked on her ground game, but there are just levels on the mat. Once Mullens gets the takedown, I think that this will probably close up pretty fast. I was targeting some Mullens props. We'll see how this week develops.
Yeah, coincidentally, after some tape, I was targeting some Mullens props as well. I think the finishing could be there. I think fight doesn't go on both girls' fights is live. Unders probably fair as well. Should be good.
This fucking guy, man.
What are you thinking? See how I did that? A true professional, true showman.
Yeah, so I think the violence makes sense, but they're really onto it. It's minus 125. I don't really like that. But yeah, I mean, Dariya is clearly the better striker. Mullens is kind of a punching bag on the feet. And the thing with Dariya, I know you remember when we bet her against Rendon, and she was kind of running her way at the end, and her face got like all red when she get punched. I'm like, bro, how are we gonna lose that? That girl really scared me. And she's at MMA Factory, and I don't think she has good bodies to train with to improve her grappling. When you get submitted by Eileen Perez, I don't think Eileen Perez know what a submission is. So it's not a good look. She just panicked on the ground. She's also another girl that has zero ground game. Mullens actually a good grappler. I know she has no submission, but good ground and pound, and she knows what she's doing, grappling competition, all that stuff. So it's a classic grappler versus striker matchup. Dariya, the much better striker, but Mullens not like she can't win moments on the feet because of how Dariya fight. And one takedown could be the fight or the round for Mullens. So I think she's the rightful favorite. And she probably wins this, I'll say TKO, but it could be a sub. It's just that she doesn't really go for them too often. That's the tricky part.
Do you guys think that Eileen Perez is on a fraud run?
Yes. She's gotten better, though. I will give her that. She's gotten a lot better. I was going to
say, the last fight, her striking actually looked decent.
But she does not deserve this run.
Her last fight against Kara Rosa, I thought she looked improved, to say the least. So I don't think she's a fraud, but yeah, she's going to lose sooner than later.
Okay. All right. Next fight we have is Ismael Naurdiev versus Jung Park. The people's evidently it's everyone's favorite fighter. Park is 18-6. Ismael Naurdiev is 24-7. Odds in these two gentlemen, you can get Park anywhere from -175 to -185. You get Naurdiev anywhere from +160 to +150. I'll go first here since I think I'm the only one with a bet on this fight so far. Yeah, I got in on the early Naurdiev line +200. I just seem like it's just unfair. Not even because I do think like I bet Park before. Like I think I bet him against Brad Tavares, stuff like that. He's a very well-rounded fighter. He can strike pretty well. He can grapple pretty well. He pushes a good pace, 2 and 3. Like he's what you want in a fighter. But I don't think he like excels anywhere. He's good everywhere. He's not great anywhere. Naurdiev, this is his second stint in the NFL, in the UFC. He's on his second run here. He looked better. You check out his Instagram. He's training hard. He's taking it seriously here. I mean, his last bout that he lost to, Job, do you know who the last UFC fight he lost to, who it was?
Was it Sean Brady or
It was Sean Brady. That's who they cut him after fighting, was Sean Brady during COVID. So, and listen, that was a tough fight, and he was able to stick it out and not get finished by Sean Brady, which is a hard thing to do, especially.
By the way, 5 more seconds at the end, he lose by guillotine in round 3.
Okay, well, listen, 5 more seconds. A lot of fights change 5 more seconds, and there's different results. But hey, either way, I don't know. I think that Ismael is gonna put a game together here. I think he wins round 1, round 2 at a pretty high clip. Round 3 is probably where it's gonna get a little bit difficult for him. But like I said, I don't think I see Park dominating him in grappling. I don't see him dominating him on the feet. Like I think this is a pretty close fight, which is why I played him at 2-1 odds. I think Park should be the rightful favorite, but I think he should be, -130, -150 range, not -200 or 225 like where he was where I bet him. So yeah, I don't know. I was fine with an early Naurdiev price. I would not play it here probably. If anything, it gets down to -150. You could take You could take the shot on Park. What are you thinking, Key?
Yeah, this is a fight that I didn't get to tape. I don't rate Naurdiev highly. I side with Park lean. So yeah, I'm not gonna waste time on this.
Yeah, I think it's a good fight, honestly, and I think Park could potentially cook in round 2, 3 there. I don't think Naurdiev is all that big. I mean, you're referring to Sean Brady fight. It was also at 170, and he's fighting at 185 now, which I don't think he should be. I think he should be a welterweight. And after getting caught, he lost. He lost 3 fights by finish after getting caught against brave competition. So, and his wins are against a guy that his wins after getting caught are not good. And then he got signed again, and he win against Bruno Silva, who's wash as shit. So I don't really know what to think about this dude. He's not a bad fighter. He's fast, and he's good in round 1. It's not like he's a complete gasser, but he definitely slowed down at the end of round 2 and in round 3. And Park, he's a really hard guy to beat. The guy that is beating him, we're talking about Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, Gregory Rodriguez, Robocop, and Andrew Muniz. That in fight that he could maybe have won. So he's 8-3 in the UFC. And if you want to beat Park, you got to be a really good fighter, right? If not, he's going to beat you. And yeah, I don't think Naurdiev is really on that level, honestly. He could make that fight close, but I still think at the end he's going to win. Like, even if he compete, he still lose a 29-28 decision, which on the other end, I think Park has upside to cook in round 2, 3 and potentially finish the fight. Naurdiev has been finished a lot of times. Park, underrated grappling, good guillotine, good back take. And his jab is really nice. His volume is better. His cardio is better. He's just a good all-around fighter. It's really hard to beat a guy like him. He's good everywhere, good cardio. I just think he's going to outwork him, and you could cook him in round 2, 3. So, yeah, to me, it's Park here. I think he's the rightful favorite. I'll say, though, I don't really think there's value on the line. I think he should be around like 65%. So, yeah, I don't think there's value, but I still don't think Naurdiev is a good dog shot because I could see him winning round 1, but I don't like his chance to win the fight still, honestly. But yeah, he's younger. Like I said, he's a bit faster. He's kind of dangerous in round 1. And he has round 1 upside, but Park was also pressuring and cooking Rodriguez Like I said, he could have won that fight. And the Andre Muniz fight, you could argue that he won. So, yeah.
I think he won the Muniz fight.
Yeah, he really could have. So if you gave him the Muniz fight, we're talking about a guy who's a 9-2 in the UFC, right?
Yes.
And two losses being RoboCop and Fluffy. But watching that RoboCop fight, he was actually pressuring RoboCop, putting him on the back foot, and we don't really see RoboCop on the back foot too often. I'm pointing that out because I've seen Naurdiev is always pressuring in all of his fights, and he clearly doesn't seem comfortable on the back foot. He's always on the front foot pressuring, but based on his cardio being suspect and based on his lack of volume, I think Park's style is always to pressure people. So if Park's able to land the jab and put him on the back foot, there is a good scenario where Naurdiev looked kind of desperate in round 2-3, even more than he should, because the jab going to be landing, the body shot's going to be landing, and he doesn't react well to leg kicks either. So yeah, Park is not like the best on. I agree with that. I think the KO is nice, but I think it could also be a sub, honestly. I'm looking at 2-3 there, round 2-3 for Park. We'll see what I do, but Park's also a guy that's not really fighting on the back foot too often. But I still think if he's on the back foot, he's going to be able to land the jab, and I don't think he's going to gas out, right? But based on Naurdiev cardio being shaky, if he's on the back foot, which he's normally not, and Park pressure him and land a ton of volume and mix in maybe the grappling, I think he could finish down the stretch. So, and again, you're talking the Sean Brady fight and all these fights, it was at 170. Now he's at 185, and I don't think this guy is all good, honestly. So I think Park is a solid fighter. He should get this one done and potentially by finish.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of thought the early price was raw.
You can cash out. Thank you, Pepe.
You can't cash out on Bet Online, I don't think.
I'm kidding, bro. Don't cash out.
I wouldn't cash out anyway. Now it's me and you going head to head. I love it. Nothing better.
You clearly don't love it, but that's okay.
Next fight, right? Okay. Oban Elliott. Seok Hyun Ko. Ko. The man. What do they call it? They call him what? Korean Tyson or something like that, I think is what they're calling him on the regional. Korean Tyson, he is plus 400 to plus 420. Oban Elliott, minus 470 to minus 550. I mean, Drav, I'll have you go first here. I think this guy Ko, after what he did to Cavalcanti, I think it was Igor Cavalcanti on the Dana White Contender Series, I was totally impressive. I think he's got a crazy left hook, counter left hook. What do you think? Is he live upset here?
I was there on Dana White Contender Series. I bet him there. He was a similar price, honestly. He was plus 350, and now he's plus 400. The market is not high on this dude. I kind of understand why, because his level of competition not being the greatest. This dude on Dana White Contender Series you mentioned is kind of a brute. You know, he's a round one merchant. But after this fight, he actually went on and won 2 fights after. So he's maybe not a fraud. Maybe he's actually good. And Carl, you know, he got landed on by some big shot, and he was still there. His cardio is good. His volume is all right. He's a southpaw. He's a classic, you know, Korean fighter. Fighting on the southpaw stance, in and out movement. His striking is actually good, honestly. Like you said, good left hook, good volume, good cardio, decent leg kicks. And he actually has a Sambo background. I think he's a former Sambo world champ. And his takedown defense seems good. He seems pretty strong with what I've seen. Good get-up game. And yeah, you know, I think Elliott is also a good fighter. Don't get me wrong. He's improving. But what I've noticed, if you look into the two, like normally when Elliott struggle, the 2 losses he have are by KO, right? It was like more ground and pound. He got kind of grind on, right? Back in the day. So he got knocked out when he lost. And then on the Dana White Contender Series fight, he almost got knocked out again. He fought a guy with power and he almost got knocked out. And then against Val Woodburn, he got dropped bad in the first round. And then, you know, used his grappling because he was the much better grappler in both these fights. So he used his grappling to win and come back and, you know, all that. But Val Woodburn, he has power, but he's a small dude with no grappling, right? So, and then you look into his last 2 fights, and what I've noticed is Hafez and Parson, right? They're both pretty all right. They're pretty Like they're just okay. They're not that great, but they have 20 pro fights. Afes and Parson. I'm gonna ask you guys a question. How many knockouts do you think they have combined? Parson and Hafez.
How many knockouts they have combined? I know
like
in
20 pro fights.
Yeah, I was gonna say 4 or 5 because I know Parsons probably has more than Hafez does.
All right, so the answer is 1 across 20 pro fight. My point is they're not, KO artists. They're not really big power guy. I know Hafez carries some power, but they were both good matchup for Elliott because he was the better striker. He could decide where the fight take place. He was more technical, and he just outworked them, right? Looking into the fight, Ko has power. He's gonna compete in the striking. He might even be the better striker. It's pretty close on the feet, and I'm not convinced Elliott's gonna take him down and grapple fuck him. I really don't think so. So now we're just looking at
He's
two
got
fighters.
good sprawls based on the tape, even though that guy wasn't that good. That the guys who try and take him down, he's sprawled though.
He seems strong, and
he also reversed Cavalcanti when Cavalcanti shot the takedown, and he hip tossed him as well in that fight. So like,
yeah. So what I've seen, he doesn't I don't think Elliott's gonna maul in the grappling. I really don't think so. On the feet, I see it close. I think they're gonna compete on volume. I think Ko might have more power, and they can both get knocked out, right? But Elliott, I think he is clearly overrated after that KO win against Hafez. The scorecard was all over the place, by the way. One of them was 2-0 Hafez, which is kind of crazy. 2-0 Hafez. And then the other scorecard was one apiece going into round 3.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Elliott was winning that fight. My point is, when he's not finishing, he's fighting close. I'm pointing out Dana White Contender Series got dropped. Woman fight got dropped. He looked good against Parson. I don't remember the scorecard. And then the last fight before the knockout, it was kind of close, but he was still winning. But the judges were not really convinced that he was winning. So the way I look into this one, I think it's just a close fight overall, which I think Elliott should be the favorite. He's the better fighter and he's younger, but I mean, minus 250 maybe around that, minus 230, 70% in these type of range, but he's minus 500. Like, what are we doing here? I know people are not high on Ko. That's okay, but I'm willing to find out. And I think Elliott is a fade sooner than later. And I'm not saying he's bad. He's all right, but the market is clearly overrating him. And there's a lot of hype on him after that knockout. But again, I think if you put context into his last couple wins, and by the way, he fought better guys. Like I said, he has the better brand of competition, but his wins in the UFC, they have a combined records of 3 wins and 8 losses in the promotion. So is that really the best competition? We'll see. I think Ko is a solid fighter, honestly, but he's underrated again, big underdog, market sleeping on him. Let's see. I'm willing to find out at this price, honestly.
All right. So I'll just translate it to you guys for real quick. Ko's got the finishing upside. Oban has fights on slim margins. Grappling defense is good from Ko. Pretty good, pretty decent so far from what we've seen. Level of competition is not great. Lines wide. What do you think, Key?
Yeah, Elliott should win. He shouldn't be minus 515. This is just blatant recency bias. I think the Ko isn't that good. I think he was just a body against Cavalcanti, and I didn't realize that Cavalcanti was that shit. For me, it's a pass. I can understand. It's dog or pass, though, very clearly. If you're parlaying Elliott at these prices, get help. But it's a pass fight for me.
Oh, I forgot to mention that also. Ko plus 200 plus 3.5 is spread of the week this week. I'll post it on Twitter tomorrow, just because I don't give Oban much finishing equity, to be honest. Here, all the finishing equity is up to Ko. Ko's kind of a dog. Doesn't seem like he'd get finished easily. So yeah, perfect. And like I said, small margins on Elliott, so it's a perfect storm at plus odds. Definitely take that as a spread. Next fight. Mohammad Naimov, the cheater, versus Bogdan Grad. Naimov is 12-3. Bogdan Grad 15-2. Odds in these two gentlemen, you can get Naimov anywhere from minus 240 to minus 250. You can get Bogdan Grad anywhere from plus 205 to plus 225. All right. So, Key, I'm going to have you go first here. I mean, is this a Naimov spot, or is this Bogdan Grad outdogs him and outworks him?
I love a good cheater. Naimov's always willing to cheat. Um, for me, it's a pass. Again, sadly, I don't rate either guy here. Bogdan is kind of just an ape in there. I get it. Yeah, he produces fun fights. But in my opinion, he's just kind of there. Naimov is matches
Very hittable,
physicality.
too.
Yeah, Naimov matches physicality. And it's not that Naimov is some sniper that's going to make Grad truly pay for it. But he is live to bonk him, as is fucking Drav is in the pocket with Grad. So at this point, I get it. Naimov probably gets it done. I think line is probably a little wide given how this fight plays out at a regular clip. So I'm not too excited to be hopping in here, but I think Naimov gets it done pretty not in a dominant fashion, but a clear fashion.
Drav, I mean, you feel any different about it?
Not really. It's not a fight I have a ton of interest on. I think Naimov is the clear favorite, but Grad is the funny fighter to me. He's like, you can point out a lot of things that he does wrong, and you just find ways to win. He's a good winner, which is kind of hard to bet against these fighter. Like, there's a lot of reasons to like Naimov, but there's also some things that tell me that Grad could pull it off. I'm not that high on Naimov, but he's a good fighter. He's kind of, I think he's kind of better a little bit everywhere when you look at it. Like, he's stronger in the grappling. He could get takedowns. I think he hit harder. And Grad's just going to put on a fight, probably be in his face, and could throw a lot of volume. But honestly, I think Naimov get takedowns and probably wins. I think a decision. Grad is tough. But yeah, I don't have the strongest read on this one. I've taped it. I know some people on Naimov, and I was like, yeah, maybe I get to him for a parlay, but I decided to pass. I think the line is probably fine. Maybe, where it is now. Yeah, minus 240. I think I cap him around 70%. I think Grad has some meme upside. And Naimov, not the best cardio in round 3, especially. Shout out to him for that Felipe Lima sub 3. But yeah, I think Grad could get it done, but I just don't think he's that good of a fighter. But he could be improving. He's young, but we'll see. I just want to, watch that one and take notes.
Yeah, the initial memory of Grad in his last fight and of recency kind of had me thinking, like, I always look at the slate and decide, like, who's going to be my spread of the week. Grad was going to be there, definitely, for sure. Was looking at it, but then, like, watching how hittable he is against a guy like Naimov, who does carry power at times. I don't know. Too hittable for me. His grappling isn't the best. His striking defense isn't the best, kind of like Pepe said here. So it's kind of got me to stay away. Like, I could see him winning, especially Naimov in the Middle East or Azerbaijan, wherever that is on a map.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think
it could be a 30-27.
You should handle business.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Fuck, that was the main card. All right, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. We talk fights all the time. We talk other sports. We talk life lessons with Key, where to vacation, how to vacation, all the above. Join the Discord. It's a great place to hang out. We have a good group of guys in there. We're almost at 200 people already, so let's keep growing. All right, next fight here is going to be a banger of a fight. It's Nikolas Motta versus Nazim Sadykhov. Sadykhov is 10-1-1. Nikolas Motta is 15-5. Odds on these two gentlemen, you can get Sadykhov anywhere from minus 440 to minus 470. You can get Motta anywhere from plus 340 to plus 360. Job, I'm going to have you go first here. I mean, I think this is a very clear Nazim Sadykhov spot. Obviously, Motta can knock out anybody with the hands he's got, but I don't know. Sadykhov just seems like the more technical striker. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, Sadykhov is another of these fighters where I can make a lot of reasons to bet against him. He's hittable. He can lose rounds. He can be too cocky. He can get caught. But he has a really good chin. He's really tough. And he's another guy. He's just a winner, man. I mean, big power, good grappling, good cardio. He's a solid fighter all around. He just needs to be a little bit more careful in what he does and be a little bit smarter in the cage. which I think he could get knocked out one day, especially against Motta, who hit really hard. But I just think there's a big durability edge on the Sadykhov side here. And when he's going to pressure Motta and, back him up against the fence, he should be able to unload and lend more volume and get the kill shot. He has big power. And I just think Motta, sometimes he's waiting for the counters. And his chin can't be trusted. So Sadykhov has the power to catch him, and I think he will. Not sure he's going to submit him, though. He could, wreck him in the grappling, but he's the type of guy that's not going to use it. He prefer to strike, and I think that's going to be more of a striking match where I trust, Nazim to match Motta power and win with because he has more durability, and Motta is going to be right there exchanging with him. But if you get knocked out, it wouldn't be the most shocking outcome to me. Motta has a ton of power, but I think Sadykhov should handle business. I'm not interested in the money line, but again, there's some props that are sticking out to me here. I think he should probably find a finish.
Key, what do you think?
I think the Sadykhov is a fucking weasel. I mean, this run is hilarious to watch. I mean, just multiple fights that he probably was on his way to losing or losing minutes and rounds at a time, and then just ends up getting bullshit to happen. I will give him credit. The kick against Bonfim was great. I had a Bonfim bet. I believe that Bonfim was looking good and winning most of the exchanges. And then that kick just happens, and it is what it is.
It was a crazy kick, question mark kick in the clinch. What was that?
Yeah, I mean, it was nasty, so I got to give him credit. I mean, skill-wise, this guy is solid and does a lot of the right things. But it seems as if he's somewhat overconfident, and he's hittable. And so in a fight like that, I feel like this ends up getting dragged into somewhat of a brawl. And Sadykhov has the hardware advantage by a mile here. So I think Sadykhov probably finds the KO here. I don't think that those numbers are bad. I am a little scared because I do think that he can find the sub if he wants it. But in Azerbaijan, I mean, it feels like he's going to be hunting for the KO and he won't go away from who he is. So I imagine that this will end up being a banger for as long as it lasts. But pick Sadykhov by KO. We'll see if I get around to a bet on that. We'll see.
I mean, I think he's going to knock him out, to be honest with you. I don't really got much technical breakdown or anything about it. I think Motta's kind of past his day. I think he's very hittable, and I think his chin sucks. And Sadykhov's also very hittable, but his chin doesn't suck, and he's fucking nuts. So, yeah.
What a breakdown.
Thank you guys for joining. Next fight. My hero, Myktybek Orolbai versus Tofik Musayev. Myktybek Orolbai 13-2-1, coming off that crazy war against Matus Rebecki. Tofik Musayev coming off a 2-year layoff, I think it is, from Bellator or PFL, one of the two.
Yeah, a year and a half. He was on the Ryzen and
yeah. I'm sorry, Ryzen.
It was Ryzen. He did 2 fights in Bellator, but most of his career was in the Ryzen.
Well, either way, looking at these two guys, Orolbai is anywhere from -160 to -175. Musayev is anywhere from +150 to +140. I'm going to let Drav give a breakdown, but I'm going to say this first before I say anything. I'm afraid for my boy Orolbai here. I'm not going to lie. That guy's not. Look at him. He looks like he would hunt woolly mammoths, right, on the weekend. Not afraid of anything. Yeah, he's got a tough son of a bitch in front of him, to say the least. Tell me why, Drav.
It's a really good fight. One of my favorite on the card. Honestly, I think it's gonna be a banger. But honestly, Musayev he's a really good striker. He's really fast and he has big power and he's nasty with the counters. And what I've noticed with Orolbai is he's never going 100% on the. Bro, don't say that. but yeah, Orolbai, he never goes all in the grappling. He's a decent striker in his own right, but what I don't like is he has no defense on the feet. He doesn't move his head, so when he's kind of pressuring, he's getting pieced up. Medic landed a couple big shots, and obviously Rebecki landed some bombs, and He dropped him in round 3 as well. Shout out Rebeshki there, cashing a big ticket, was a big underdog. But it was a war. One of the best fight last year, by the way. Rebeshki versus Orobai. If you didn't watch that fight, go watch it. You're going to have fun. That guy's a dog, Orobai. He has elite pace, really good cardio, good grappling. It's going to be in your face in round 2, 3. Like I said, decent striking. But I don't like that Musayev's taking a 1.5 year layoff and he's 35 making his debut. But he's the hometown fighter going into this fight. And clearly the better striker, the guy with, I think he has 18 KOs in his career. And he has big round 1 upside. I'm pretty confident he's going to win the first round. I think he could also put his lights out in the first round. We need to factor that Orobai, always use his chin as kind of a weapon. And now he's coming back after taking a lot of damage. And Musayev hit harder than Rebeshki and Medic. And he's faster. So I think that, and like I said, he has nasty counters. So he could time something when Orobai walk in and could walk into something and get knocked out. But if he doesn't, I think he's going to be up 1-0 going into round 2. And then the takedown defense and the wrestling aspect, I got a lot of comments on it. I posted for my free bit of the week. And there is not a ton of tapes in the wrestling department. You need to watch a lot of fights to find some. And honestly, there's not a lot of footage on them. But with what I've seen, he seems pretty strong. Good hips, good balance, good takedown defense, good get-up game. He play off his back a little bit in the Pechusu Pitbull fight, but the other fights that I've seen, he showed me good takedown defense. He got submitted against Roberto de Souza, who's a really good grappler, but that takedown attempt that he had on him was deep as fuck, and he defended it. He was still on the feet, but de Souza pulled guard basically, and he caught him. But outside of that, in the other fights, there's a couple fights I had in my notes that he shoots some takedowns, and he showed really good reaction to defend the takedowns, and he has good footwork. That's also in the big cage, which I think is better for him with his style. And I think he's going to do more damage than the bigger shot, and either win the first 2 rounds and lose the third, or get a knockout in this one. I think Orobai's going to, probably look really good in round 3. Musayev cardio is pretty good, and he carries power late, but in round 3, he can slow down, and if Orobai is able to get his game going, he could grind him out, finish in round 2, 3, or, kind of win a 29-28 decision. But I think it's a really close fight. I think it should be closer to pick him, but I'm leaning to the Musayev side, fighting at home with big power, the speed advantage, the striking advantage, and I think his takedown defense is going to be good enough for at least 6-7 minutes, and that's probably going to be enough to get the win. I think on the feet, I think Orobai is going to get he's going to get hit with something big, and that's going to be early on. We'll see what happens after that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my worry too, is Orobai has a brick for a brain. Don't get me wrong. He's got hardware for days and does that. But last fight, Rebecca hurt him. It kind of showed that he can be hurt. And kind of like what Job said, Musaya is probably the strongest power puncher he's got. So I just don't outside of the fight, Orobai wins this in the grappling, wins it in pace, wins it over 15 minutes, 100%. I just worry with how hittable he is and how, accurate Tofik and how strong he is. So that's kind of my worry there. I'm going to stay off the fight personally, but I think at current line, you probably got to take the underdog here. What do you think, Key?
Yeah, I know that this is the Twitter fight of the week. It seems like there's been a civil war on Twitter over this. Musayev is just harder for me to cap. The layoff, being older, and then the competition that you're seeing is smaller Asian guys most recently. And nobody that really truly matches Orobai's style. It's just hard to cap. So I get it. There are concerns striking wise for Orobai, and Musayev is legit on the feet. He's a sniper. He finds shots well. He's quick as hell. But at the same time, whenever he's been at his best, it's been running off a lot of consistency with his fights, and this layoff causes issues. Orobai, as Peg mentioned, over 15 minutes, we know that he's going to wrestle. We know that he's not going to stop wrestling. And the guy's hardware, while I do think that, yes, that Rebecca fight was a bad look for him to get pieced up like that and to take all that damage, I still think that his hardware is super elite. And again, the layoff is just really nasty for me. This would be a little different if maybe we saw a debut fight or even just a fight earlier, somewhat earlier in 2024, something like that. But it's just harder for me to cap. You're talking about you're getting coming up on close to, what is this, an 18, 19-month layoff, I believe.
Yeah,
Um,
no 2 years.
I mean that's tough. So I think it's dog or pass at these prices because again, Musayev does have upside early, and I could see Oral by getting hurt, but over 15 minutes, it's not that I know Musayev to be able to deal with the pace and the wrestling. It's not that I think that Oral by is just insane on top or anything. It's just that he doesn't fuck off. So I get it. Musayev in home country. Obviously, this was a nice fight, but for me, it's a real toss up. I might do more tape and figure out if I want to get down on Messiah, but it's dog or pass pretty clearly here. I don't think that you can justify minus 175 on a guy that you probably after round one you might end up being able to get. Um, that's big talk. A guy that after round one you probably
Caveman
are gonna
created fire, Key. Don't forget it. All right.
you're
The
probably gonna
caveman
get a
created fire.
better line on Oral by after round one. So I
Yeah,
think
I
Oral
agree
by
with that.
live, Musayev pre makes sense to me.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Key, hang on to the mic because you're going to be going next because I can't even explain this one to me. Curtis Blades versus Rizvan Kuniev. Curtis Blades 18-5. Kuniev 13-2-1. I mean, I think this is the third remake for this fight. Blades anywhere from minus 260 to minus 270. Kuniev's anywhere from plus 220 to plus 225. I think you gave Kuniev out as your free bet of the week, right, Key? I guess my question is, I kind of think this is a Blade spot, right? This is a classic guy coming over to the UFC, grappler, striker. He hasn't grappled in years, but he definitely strikes now. Kuniev got caught cheating 3 times for steroids, or was it 3 different steroids? I can't remember what it was. I just don't understand. Where do you see the value here?
No, Peg.
I see value.
I have a
Okay,
question
go
for
ahead.
Peg
Go ahead.
first. When is the last takedown Blades compete in the UFC?
It was, I know it was like, what, 4 years ago, I think it was. So 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's 2021. The last time he got a takedown.
4 years ago. I was right on the years. I don't remember the opponent, though. Who was the opponent?
Rosenstruck.
Um,
Jairzinho, Rosenstruck.
Yo, by the way, did you see Rosenstruck? I'm a huge Biggie Boy fan. Did you see the knockout he had last week?
Yeah, it was done.
I saw it.
He should have never been cut, honestly. It's crazy they cut him.
Go ahead, Key.
Go ahead, Key. Continue what you're saying.
I think here.
Crime.
Kuniev plus 250. I was very, very happy with that number. I guess I'm a popular dog, and I'm fine with being on the island here. But the read is pretty clear to me. I get it name-wise and level of competition. All that goes to Blades, and that's completely fine. But truly just looking at the wins themselves, you're talking about Tom Aspinall gets iced within a minute. Almeida's looking dominant in the grappling and then just decides to get hammer fisted to the side of his head. That's just a very weird win, in my opinion. Not a win that he put together any clean rounds or clean moments outside of just some hammer fists. Pavlovich, he decided to not wrestle early on and then waited until he got hurt to start wrestling, and then could not get any takedowns there. Aspinall win, that's an ACL win. Chris Dawkins is currently getting iced by fucking Tafon and Chukwi on the regional scene right now. So I'm not going to act like that's some great win. And so then we go back to Rosenstruck, Volkov, and then we're talking about Junior Dos Santos. I mean, those are what his last like 5 wins. Am I rating that highly? Like, I believe that Kuniev is able to wrestle Biggie Boy too. I think that Peg is able to wrestle Biggie Boy. So I'm not going to sit here and talk about and I get it. Blaze has the credentials and all this stuff, and everybody loves to talk about it. But this guy has not put together a real wrestling game plan. in damn near 5 years at this point. And Kuniev isn't a guy that he's going to be able to wrestle easily. And I can say that Kuniev is, yes, he did get caught on the roids in PFL, but he is back on the roids, no doubt about it. He looked like a fat blob on Dana White Contender Series, but you check out his Instagram, check out all the socials and everything. He still has a lot of that same weight. And even the I forget what card was it that they were on that they did. Was it 313? 313, they did do the weigh-ins and all of that, and Kuniev looked a lot better. I mean, was not a fat blob at all. Looked really good. Exactly. Kuniev looked really good. And so it's not like we're getting the version of him that seemed to be just fresh off the couch and glad to get an opportunity with Dana White Contender Series. And we're getting a guy who's in shape, Muslim country. Kuniev at range, in my opinion, is the better fighter. I mean, kicks, he's surprisingly mobile for his size. And I think that Kuniev, I think anybody in the heavyweight division can ice Blades. And that's not, and I get it. He's been iced by guys who have elite power, but he's been iced in awful fashion. And you're talking about whenever you get iced, it's not just, oh, your durability goes away, your confidence goes away. So this is a guy who at one time was believing too much in his hands and now has been paid the price multiple times for it the hard way. And I'm supposed to expect that he's going to come out and look good on the feet versus Kuniev and not gun shy at all whenever it seems like he's been kicking himself over not wrestling. So there's confidence issues going on Blades' side. And career trajectory wise, where is Blades going? Is anybody calling for a Blades title shot anytime soon? No. He's 34 years old, been iced badly 3 times by some of the strongest punchers in the division. Kuniev is solid at range. It's going to be a relatively close fight. There's going to be cage pushing. And I don't think the Blades, this is some spot where Blades, I can understand this line if Blades was facing a striker. And it was like, okay, Blades finally has a very, very clear path to wrestling, and he's going to get top time if he can wrestle. But Kuniev is not going to just give up easy top time to Blades. I really don't understand the line. It feels like this is just name bias and name value. But this is a much closer fight if you take away names and just for who they are. And again, Blades has not put together any great wins in the past 3 years. I mean, what has he done besides get iced? And so, in my opinion, I think that this is a pretty offline. And I get it. Blades' favorite, if you want to say due to level of competition, experience, high level, all this stuff, that's completely fine. I'm not going to argue in that. But I refuse. Yeah, the Blades are dull. But I refuse to sit here and act like Blades is going to look and justify this price tag at a high clip. That just doesn't make sense to me unless there's something that I don't know. But Kuniev's back on the roids is pretty obvious. ATT has the best doctors in the game. USADA's fucking going. Everybody's on it. I just don't understand. Yeah, that is very true. But
remember
again,
when he said he's going to go out and box Pavlovich and actually went out and did it and didn't try and wrestle at all?
So, I mean, what are we doing? I mean, and so for me, it's like if we're justifying parlaying Curtis Blades, God bless you. But I think that this fight getting moved to Azerbaijan, of course, benefits Kuniev. And I think the career trajectory wise, it's like Blades, where is his career going? He's not getting another title shot. He's just here. So Kuniev is getting a spot, and I get it. It's a huge step up, but he's fought dangerous guys before. He's been in there with Renan Ferreira. Renan Ferreira is one of the most dangerous guys in the heavyweight division in the world, just due to his physical traits and athleticism. So it's not like he hasn't fought guys with any power or just fat blobs. He's fought real athletes before too and been able to win. So I think that Rizwan looks fine at range. I think this ends up playing out as a 29-28 fight, or Kuniev ends up, and if Blades is truly just cooked and washed, yeah, I think that there's a chance that Kuniev ices him too.
I can't remember who I was talking to. I was also talking to someone about, Kuniev, I think, like the kind of some guys in the chat here are saying, but I was talking to someone else earlier this week. I think the UFC kind of realizes what they have with Kuniev, and they kind of got to fast track him in the heavyweight division. That's pretty lackluster at this point. So I think, kind of to your point, I think you're right. I think they kind of are setting him up with an opponent where he could kind of find some success here. Line, I think, is name value for sure. I think that's the majority of it. I haven't really taped like Blades fight ever since I lost on the Jailton Almeida bet because I was on that huge, and that was just a disgusting way to lose. What do you think, Drav?
Yeah, I don't have a good read on this one, honestly.
And that was all narrative that I broke down, by the way. That was all narrative based.
I think he make a lot of good points. I wanted to get to a Kuniev bet the first time they were booked. I think the over could be sneaky. It's plus money. I don't think Blade's gonna finish him. Kuniev never been finished, and Kuniev doesn't have like nasty power, so I'm not sure he's gonna knock him out either. That's also his UFC debut, so it would be kind of insane in hindsight making your debut against a top 5 heavyweight, knocking him out. But that's heavyweight, so that's more possible than in the lower weight class. But I think he's solid, honestly. He's good in the clinch, which we've seen Blades getting control in his fights a lot. So I think Kuniev could potentially win the clinch, and on the feet, it's probably going to be close, So yeah, and Blades confidence-wise, where he's at, his chin and all that, there's a lot of question mark, but he's always a big favorite and shitting the bed, and people love to bet him. That's always been like that. But yeah, it's a dog or pass for sure. Maybe the Kuniev spread. What do you think about it, Key? It's plus 140, the Kuniev 3.5. Because if it go the distance, I'm pretty sure he's winning at least a round.
Yeah, I think that's fine too.
And I don't think he's getting finished. If he lose, do you think he could get finished? Like, that's possible, obviously, but
Blades has power. I mean,
yeah,
it's not to say I just don't think that Blades is going to put together a lot of minutes at a time well on the feet.
Yeah, so the dog or pass, I'm leaning to the Blade side, but yeah, there's no way I could lay this price. But like I said, I don't have the best read on it. Listen to Key, he's passionate about a big underdog, so I hope you cash it, bro. Let's go.
All right.
Next fight's a really good one, Peg. Break it down. What it is.
I agree. It's Ignacio Bahamondes versus Rafael Fiziev. We're looking at Fiziev. He's 12-4. 3 of those 4 losses have come in his last 3 fights. I think I saw a stat about him since 2022 is like what 1-4 or something, or 1-3 and something like that. But before that, he was 6-0. Bahamondes 17-5 on a hot streak. Jalen Turner, Torres, Gygos. Line on these 2 gentlemen, it was Bahamondes anywhere. He's about minus 130. Fiziev's plus 110. I got in on Ignacio Bahamondes plus 110. I think what we're seeing here is, I don't want to call it a passing of the guard, but when we're looking at a guy here, Bahamondes, he's coming around in his striking. He looked great his last fight against Turner. He got a sub, which, don't get me wrong, I was on Bahamondes there as well. I was not expecting a sub. I think that was kind of, I don't want to call it fluky, but I don't know. It just shows that his game's there. And the thing that really got me to the Bahamondes side is the Gaethje fight against Fiziev, just because Fiziev is one of those guys that always has a good chin, right? His whole career. And all of a sudden he got rocked twice against Gaethje. And he's not like, obviously Gaethje can rock anyone, sure. But it's not like he's getting prime Gaethje. He's getting Gaethje who coming off getting starched. And like, it wasn't like as technical of a fight as Fiziev usually has. That being said, I think, the closest comparison for Bahamondes on tape is if you go back and watch the Ludovic Klein fight, right? A guy who's going to throw heavy leg kicks, get in your face. Could prove tough here, but like we're saying, we're getting a very close line at plus 120. You're getting the lines moved in the right way. We beat the line, as you would say. And I just think we're watching a guy who's coming up and they're trying to get, like you said, a co-main event. He's trying to become a star. He's on his like a positive career trajectory. And a guy in Fiziev where he's kind of starting to fizzle out, if you will. So I don't know. I just think that this is a good spot for Bahamondes. As long as he keeps his range and stays that range, I think he could point fight his way to a win. I think that his body kicks up the middle will be fine. I don't really see any grappling coming here. So yeah, I don't know. I just think Bahamondes is the way to go. What do you think, Drav?
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think the line movement was sharp on that one. Bahamondes is a 6'3" lightweight, and Fiziev, you guys remember after his last fight what he said in the interview in the Ariel Awani show?
No, I didn't.
He said that he wanted to move down to featherweight, that he could probably make the weight. And you remember Key, right? You remember Key? Yeah. So I'm like, yeah. So you want to move down to 145 because maybe you think you're smaller and you could make the cut. and now after that you're fighting a 6'3" lightweight. It's like, yeah, I don't know about that, but looking into the way and how they match up, I think Bahamondes has better cardio. He throw like double the volume that Fiziev does. Fiziev is a solid striker, but I think his power has always been overrated. I think he has like 10 knockdown across 10 UFC fights, and he's been knocked down 2 times himself. Bahamondes really good chin. He's been cracked a couple times. His defense can be a problem in the pocket, but he's improving. He's only 27 years old, and we've seen him improvements fight to fight. And Fiziev, I think, is declining since the Gamrot fight. I think in the Gamrot fight, he didn't look as good, honestly. I know he got injured, but I think if the fight went on, he would have lost. And in the last Gagey fight, I know it was short notice, but he still didn't really look that good in that one. He got hurt, obviously, in round 2. He got dropped bad. And Fiziev, the story is always the same. He can gas out in round 3. He can get out volume. And normally he uses power and his combination in the pocket to win round based on moments. He's a really good striker, like I said, really good takedown defense. But Bahamondes, people talking about the Ludovic Klein fight a lot. Klein hurt Bahamondes in round 1, and I think it changed the trajectory of the fight, honestly. And also, he used his wrestling. He had 6 minutes of top control. Fiziev is not going to get that. And I don't think Fiziev is likely to hurt him, honestly. He could, but I don't think that's like a guarantee. And Bahamondes could also hurt Fiziev. At distance, Bahamondes has some tricky kicks. And I just think Bahamondes is going to be able to hit him at distance with some things that Fiziev is going to need to close the distance to hit him with. And two of Fiziev's best weapons, like the knees in the clinch, the knees to the head, and the head kick, right? But that's gonna be hard to use against a 6'3" lightweight. So the way I look at it is, you gave me the guy who's younger, entering his prime with the career trajectory, the momentum, taller, longer striker. I think he win round 3 at a high clip. I think he has more finishing upside, KO or submission, and I just think Fiziev is still good. He's been fighting the better people, but he's declining, and he's gonna need to get on the inside, get the leg kick game going, and close, get in the pocket to have success. I just think Bahamondes going to double him up on volume and could also, find something to finish him. Just think Bahamondes is improving fight after fight, and Fiziev, I've seen him declining. So yeah, to me, it's a Bahamondes spot. I think the line is probably fine where it is. I think it should be around minus 125 to minus 150 in this spot. It could be like a recency bias spot, that it's like a buy low spot on Fiziev, which is possible. He's been losing to really good guys, but honestly, I think he's always been overrated. A guy that was 5-4 as a favorite in the UFC, and I think his power has been overrated. He get out volume sometimes in his fight. Round 3 against Bobby Green was not a good look. Round 3 in the Gagey fight was not a good look. Oh yeah, that's true. He does hit a lot of body shot, but I've never really seen him get hurt with that. At least I don't recall. So yeah, Bahamondes is just, to me, that's going to be a really hard fight for Fiziev, because he's not going to outvolume him. He's not going to out wrestle him. I don't think he's going to knock him out or knock him down. So I give Bahamondes a lot of minute winning upside, and I think he could also find a kill shot. Spinning wall kick KO is live. It happened before for both guys. On the loss side for Fiziev and the win side for Bahamondes, I think that's live to happen again. Bahamondes spinning wall kick. Book it.
All right. Key, what do you got for me?
Yeah, this is a weird fight. Fiziev, I would still rate highly, and I still think he's good. Bahamondes is my boy. I backed him nonstop. But this is a weirder fight for me. I think that Baha does not wear damage well at all. Fiziev is going to land thudding shots. I think Pepe makes a good point about going to the body. I think that those will be good investments. But Fiziev being in Azerbaijan, it makes it a little weirder too. I can't blame plus money on Baha. And typically is the longer, obviously will be the longer guy here, but in every fight's a longer guy. But it's not that he has long man defense, but at times it's just he's a little too loose, it feels. And Fiziev, everything is tight and close and sharp. So I do think that Fiziev will land in the pocket and up close. And again, but Baha's cardio is going to look better than Fiziev's here. But I can see a scenario where Fiziev were to win the first 2 rounds. And I don't think that the cut definitely isn't easy for Baja. And I do think that Fiziev being in home country, crowd's going to be behind him. I think that there's a lot on the line here. And I get it. Yes, he didn't look the best against Gaethje late, especially late, but that's Justin Gaethje. I mean, again, look at the guys he's fighting, level of competition. So I think there's good arguments for both guys here. I lean Baja. I'm not going to get to this price, minus 120 or so. I'm not getting to that price. If it were to drop back, maybe I would have interest. But I pick-wise Baja, but I do think the Fiziev is going to make this a real competitive fight. I think this is going to be a banger. This was a good matchup.
All right. Well, it goes to distance. I don't mind that. I don't really see a finish either, to be totally honest.
Yeah, I think if there's a finish, it's like a Ba KO. But if it's not, it should go to distance more often than not. And the GTD price also pretty good. So I think it's a sharp angle if you don't like a side.
All right, main event time. Join the Discord. Like, comment, and subscribe. Jamal Hill versus Khalil Rountree. Jamal Hill is on a 2-fight skid, fighting both Poatan and Yuri. Khalil Rountree just lost to Poatan. Let's break this fight down. I mean, I think the line's close to a pick 'em at this point. Yeah, Jamal Hill's anywhere from plus 110 to plus 120. Rountree's anywhere from minus 120 to minus 130. Jav, I'm going to have you go first. Jamal Hill, 2-fight skid, fighting the number one, number 2 in division. Khalil Rountree obviously coming off his title shot. How do you think this fight goes?
Yeah, I think the market's clearly overrating Khalil at this point after the last fight because he did better than what people were expecting. But honestly, over 5 rounds, he doesn't have the cardio to keep it up over 5. It's just not his style. And you go back and you watch the Dustin Jacoby fight, he gets sloppy as the fight extends. He clearly lost that fight, honestly. He got out volume pretty badly. He was not really able to hurt Jacoby. And, he was getting landed on pretty easily. And I think Hill is kind of a similar version of Jacoby, but a better one with more power and a better chin. So now it's like Rountree's 35 at this point, and I think his run has been really questionable. I don't think he should be in the top 5 of that division. He's probably a top 10, top 15 guys. We're talking about a guy that have some really questionable losses in his career. And Hill didn't look the best recently. With the knee pad against Prohaska, it was not the best look. His footwork didn't look as good. His defense got worse, it looked like. His movement and all that. But at the end of the day, Prohaska would fuck up Rountree of the fight, man. Let's just be real about it. And it was still kind of competitive at moments. But, Prohaska is a dog, and Hill got kind of, he got out-dogged. That's basically what Prohaska does. In this fight, the way I see it is Hill was going to land way more volume, and I think he can match Rountree power. And he's also taller, longer. I think his cardio over 5 rounds is much better. But yeah, confident-wise, where he's at, the knees, where they at, we don't really know. So there's some concerns about Hill, obviously, and it's hard to bet him. But the first time they were scheduled, it was before the Prohaska fight for Hill. Hill was the favorite, right? So now he's the underdog. People are high on Rountree, people are low on Hill. So it could be a good buy low spot on Hill. It's just hard to trust him, but I'm pretty confident he should be a slight favorite. Like I said, more volume. I think his boxing is better. His volume and cardio is better, and I don't think Rountree is going to be able to keep it up. Rountree is live to knock him out, and I've seen Hill getting clipped a lot of time with the left hook. Obviously Pereira got him, Prohaska got him, but like the clip one after one, when you look at them, it's like the exact same shot at the same position. That's kind of crazy. So he needs to be careful. I think he got tagged a couple times against Clover also with that shot. He's always shown a really good chin. Maybe that's declining the durability, but at the same time, you're fighting like Prohaska and Pereira, 2 of the most dangerous fighters on the roster. So now Rountree is like, I think he could have success with the leg kicks, and he's nasty with them. But yeah, I think Hill should get it done. He just has more upside, and he's the underdog. And I also noticed something on Instagram, and just when I've seen the Rountree interviews, you guys remember his nose got busted up against Poatan, right? He got like his nose was bleeding.
Yeah.
And all that. Have you guys noticed that his nose, like in this area, is still kind of messed up since that fight? If you look into his his most recent photos on Instagram, maybe that's normal. I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor, but his nose is still kind of messed up since that fight, and it was last year. I don't know what's up with that, but I guess he's good if he's accepting the fight, but I think his nose has a little something on it still after that beating he took. He took a lot of damage in that fight. So Hill didn't look good and he took a lot of damage against Prohaska, but same can be said about Rountree. So to me, it's a close fight, but I just think Hill, if he's close to what he was against Glover and against like what's his name? Jimmy Crude, like he should cook here. He's live for a KO himself, but I think he's also the one that's going to win the decision if the fight goes all 25 somehow.
Key, what are you thinking?
Yeah, of course, this feels like the spot where I don't end up betting Hill, and he finally wins after I backed him 2 times in his past 2 fights. I thought they would just look like the cleaner, more accurate guy versus
my
Yuri,
breakdown.
where he just completely fucked him. And in my opinion, I think that Hill I think this is a product of him, one, overestimating his own abilities a little bit, but living a undisciplined lifestyle. I mean, he gets fat in and out outside of camps. And that's, I believe, has led to, I mean, double knee braces in the last fight. We know these torn his Achilles. And all of that, it seems like he's just carrying too much weight up top, and he looks like somebody's like uncle at a cookout half the time whenever he's out of camp. But the dude can fight, and I'm not gonna sit here and act like that's not the case. The dude can fight. So if he's coming in healthy, and I mean, him withdrawing in April doesn't make me think that he's just had the cleanest bill of health lately, but who knows? So I think that Rountree leg kicks will be problematic here. But Rountree, it's not like Rountree targets the calf. Rountree has that Muay Thai style, so he's hitting that upper thigh a lot of times. And Rountree's hittable. I can understand Hill having upside late, but again, Hill struggles whenever he's fighting against guys who athletically match his speed and explosiveness. And Rountree's a guy who can match that speed and explosiveness. Whenever Hill isn't facing guys who are on the same speed and explosiveness level as him, he cleans them up. And he understands how to find range well. I think that he's a very high IQ fighter. But I do think that this is not the greatest matchup for him. I get it. Line wise, it makes sense to take Hill here. I think it is dog or pass, but I personally lean Rountree pick wise. And to see Hill get dropped like that twice against Yuri, I just have a lot of questions of where he is in his career. If the Glover fight truly was the top of the mound, and that just is what it is. And we will always have some questions about Hill true capabilities in this weight class. But I think the Rountree, I was afraid to see that he would feel like this was sort of the peak of his career against Poatan. But he's taking this as a mindset of he just needs one more to get right back to the title. And I believe with the statement win, I think that it's hard to argue that the UFC doesn't throw him against Poatan if Poatan ends up winning that Magomed rematch. So here it's a toss-up, but I lean Rountree from a pick standpoint. But I understand a dog shot on Hill here.
Yeah, so you kind of took what my point was. I just from a betting standpoint, which probably isn't the way to think. I bet Hill against Poatan. I bet Hill against Yuri, and I don't understand if I'm going to take Hill against both those two guys, why I wouldn't take him here. Looking at this fight originally, I was a little salty. Like, yeah, I'm not even going to touch Hill here, just because of that. But would be in my head classic. Like the one time I stay off, he does look good and win. So that led me to betting him. I also think like after taping this fight, Khalil Rountree's gas tank still isn't all there yet. You could tell time over time in any fight. I mean, Poatan fight, he looked great in round 1, looked a little bit less great in round 2, and by round 3, he was already looking sluggish. Sure, that's probably because Pereira chewed up his legs and broke his nose and beat him up, obviously. But I don't know. I feel like at a pretty high clip, Hill wins as long as he's alive off volume in 3, 4, 5. So I don't mind a live angle. I took 2 units to start on Hill at plus 120. I'll probably bet him live again if he hasn't won already or is still in the fight come round 3. Just because I don't know. Like I said, towards the end of the fight, I think that's where Hill's probably going to take over once Khalil Rountree slows, stops moving as well as he normally does. And Hill really has a nice clean jab. And if he starts busting up that nose of Rountree again, Rountree's always been kind of like the sensitive guy where like he gets down on himself and kind of gives up at times. And I think you bust up his nose again, he feels the way he did against Poatan. He has flashbacks and he quits. So yeah, I'm gonna take another shot at Hill. He burns me here. I mean, I got nothing else to say. So that's it for me. Yeah. Any comments, questions, concerns, drop or no?
Yeah, someone just hit Naurdiev on Bet Online big. The line dropped a lot, and the limit on Park is now shit. I don't know what's going on with that. The limit is now to win $50 or $50. What's going on? Yeah. Anyway, no comments.
Peg the line mover. What are you gonna do? I gave out the Naurdiev bet, and there it is. Peg the line mover. They're watching live.
Peg, you did bet the opener.
No, that was not the opener. He was sat at 190. Dude, he was at 190 last week when the limits opened. He sat there for a while. He just got brought down recently this week.
I'm not sure, but let me just see. I think I saw Balloon on your bet MMA for that bet.
Well, my balloons are a good thing. They're throwing a party because that bet's going to hit. That's why. That's usually what I see. But yeah.
Yeah, there's a big balloon when you post it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, Naurdiev is bait. Everyone's gonna learn. I love being on an island here.
The Iron Turtle's gonna cook.
He might. But all right, that's the show. Drive, you said you wanted to move away from the props and stuff like that. You don't want to do that anymore. Drive wants to kill our fun. Drive doesn't like fun, guys. If you haven't figured it out. Canadian, also French. It adds up. That's it. That's the show, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. If you want to talk about fights, talk about props, stuff like that, join our Discord. Link's going to be below. Got a good group of guys. We're cashing tickets constantly. Drop key. Anything for you guys for your Dub Club and Odd Chopper?
Same old Dub Club. Key 3 picks on Twitter. You can find everything at link in my bio. DM me. Let me know you watched the pod, and I'll hit you up with a special code. We're locked in for a little bit. I think I'm definitely going to get to a couple more spots on this card. Also locked in something on PFL. So this week should be a solid week, and building towards that big UFC 317 card, and already got a dog bet posted for that. So come talk to the guys, live bets, everything in the Discord. Dope community. So tap in with me.
Bro. So right. Pepe, did you just smash that line on Park, bro? He's back at minus 190. What the fuck? And the limits open up. I don't know what's just switched there, but yeah, that I was happy that line was dropped.
Pegasus fade, the line over.
Yeah, so on my end, Odd Shoppers, that's where I post all my stuff. Again, hit me up on Twitter if you want to join our team. We won on 9 out of my 10 cards. We've won money. I'm currently up 67 unit with the 20% ROI. All track on BetMMA, no opener bullshit like Peg is doing. And yeah, so if you want to, join the team or whatever, hit me up on Twitter. If you're new, just let me know. Like he said, that you're watching the podcast, and we're gonna hit you up with something if you wanna have access to all of our bet. If not, just follow my Twitter. I post free bet every week there, and they've been catching more often than not. So
I got an idea. That's how I'm going to market it. Guys, join the Discord. You want to smash openers with me? I take the bet and I put it in there. You'll definitely get a good opening line. I do it all the time. And people who bet big units, ooh, so cool. Guys, $100 unit, $200 unit, we'll get those down on openers. Easy. Let's make some real money here. All right, guys.
That's not real money, but that's okay.
Guys, it's real money. You could do. Hey, Kate, where could you go on vacation for 100 to win 200 on Naurdiev? That's $300. That's a plane ticket somewhere. You go to Florida.
All right, that's the episode for UFC Baku. Peg's a fucking bozo. It was a
I'm
good
going on
episode.
vacation, guys, by the way, this week. So, yeah,
Peg gets a vacation.
I get a vacation.
Where to? Enlighten us.
Colorado. I'm going to Colorado to visit family.
Yeah, vacation my fucking ass.
Yeah, Colorado, visit family. Yeah, next Thursday we'll be going live 9 p.m. for 317 is next week. So yeah, 317. All right, Dixon Insider wants a quick parlay. All right, I'll go first. I'm thinking Sadykhov KO is my leg. What do you guys like?
We can't even parlay right now.
There's no parlay. There's no parlay.
No, okay, give them. Yeah, don't play possum on him.
The fucking parlay Kuniev.
The manager is speaking. All right. So what do you like? Kuniev by finish or Kuniev by decision?
Holy fuck. Kuniev by decision.
All right. Kuniev by decision. Sadykhov by KO. Drop. What do you like?
Tagir by sub.
I like, that parlay is probably going to hit. So
yeah, we're not going to post it anywhere. So if you watch the end when we talk shit and just have fun, then you have some props. But yeah, they're not going to be on Twitter. We don't post them anymore.
Post it. I'll post it for you guys.
No, you don't post them. I'm going to delete the post if you do.
All right. That's the show. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next Thursday at 9 p.m. We'll bring a guest on as well. All right. Peace.
Out.
Yeah. My toxic graphic incoming. This is